So there's been some talk that NFL teams, just due to the truncated nature of limited preseason games, potentially no preseason games, as well as who knows what the hell's going to happen in training camp, as well as player safety, player health from coronavirus, COVID-19, the Rona, whatever you want to call it, that they may not bring full 90-man rosters to training camp, and they may reduce it potentially down to 70. There's been talks about 80, so TBD what's going to happen there. So as a rule of thumb, we decided to bring back the 75-man roster cuts and project that for the Minnesota Vikings this year. You guys remember when there were 75 roster cuts? Seems kind of dumb, right? Because they were between the third and fourth preseason game, and you were cutting guys that you generally would play in the fourth preseason game. So then you have to incentivize some of your regular starters to play in the fourth. It's just stupid. But, all right, so here's our 75-man Vikings roster projection heading into training camp. So names that have been cut are in red. That's similar to our 53-man roster projection. There you go. So quarterback, keeping all four. You got Cousins, Mannion, Stanley, as well as Browning. So you got four. And I actually think that there may be some oddities this year where teams may carry four quarterbacks on the 53-man roster, or three on the roster, one on the practice squad. Just because, I mean, if one of your quarterbacks, especially your starting quarterback, if they do test positive, even if they're asymptomatic, all the procedures in there could force them to miss time, potentially 10 to 14 days. So having as many quarterbacks as possible, which is still the most important position in all team sports, it would behoove them. It would make a lot of sense. So four quarterbacks making it into training camp. I wouldn't be shocked if they just I don't know, put Sean Mannion in quarantine, or Browning, or whoever, just so that they always have make sure to have one fully healthy quarterback. Oh, put them in like cryo freeze. They see in like sci-fi movies all the time, or like Fry from Futurama. There you go. To the running backs. All right, so decided to keep the ones that are actually going to make the roster. So the Vikings, I believe, are going to carry four tailbacks as well as one fullback. By the way, we need to bring back the term tailback. And it just, yeah. But Dalvin, Madison, Abdullah, Mike Boone, I think those are going to be four heading into the season, as well as fullback CJ Ham. And also, we need to differentiate between tailback / running back and fullback, because fullback is a fully different position. It's more important than running back. That's what I said. Said what I said, face. That means rookie Jake Vargas, as well as former UDFA second-year man Tony Brooks-James. They're going to be gone. Next up, wide receiver. So TBD how many wide receivers actually carry on the roster, because a lot less 11 personnel. And also, if KJ Osborne wins the return job, I think he may be in. So did the Vikings carry 5 wide receivers instead of 6? Maybe maybe they even carry 4. It's possible. But Thielen, Jefferson, BC, Tajay Sharp, KJ Osborne. Oh, by the way, they should just completely isolate Adam Thielen in like adamantium, or no, that's Wolverine. What did they put Han Solo in? Carbonite? Whatever. Yeah, they should do that to Adam Thielen between games. Like, he doesn't need to practice. He's a veteran. He's good to go. Also, he's the only proven wide receiver on this team. So they should do that, or have him be Bubble Boy. Be full-on Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. We got the big 4. Thielen, Jefferson, BC, Sharp, Osborne. I think those are the 5 as of right now that make the roster. Then the outside looking in, but still going to training camp. We got Hollins, Courtney Davis, Davion Davis, Chad Beebe, as well as Dylan Mitchell. On the outside, Braylon Addison, the former CFL receiver, as well as Dan Chisena, who I like. I mean, he's a track star. He's like 6'3", 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", coming out of Penn State. And like in any normal season, I mean, Chisena I would have already shown up and shown out in rookie camp as well as OTAs and gotten some momentum heading in training camp. But this year, maybe not. All right, moving over to tight ends. The power of yes, the power of spreadsheets. Oh, no, there we go. All right, so tight ends. We got Tyler Gronklin listed as one because he's tight end 1 in our hearts. But Gronklin, I think Dylan makes it to camp. I actually think he could make the roster this year. The Marion Barbarian, same thing with Kyle Rudolph, as well as Irv Smith Jr. On the outside looking in is Nakia Griffin-Stewart, the UDFA coming in. Not going to make it. Offensive line. So as of right now, just because of limited training camp and no OTAs, I think right now your starting offensive line left to right is going to be Reef, Elflein, Bradbury, Samia O'Neal, which, if this is a normal offseason with full-on competition, I would be upset, but I do understand the circumstances this year. And also earning invite, Oli Udo, I think he makes a roster. We got Josh Klein down. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. It makes sense for it to happen. Kyle Hinton, the 7th-round pick out of Washburn. Ezra Cleveland, of course, 2nd-rounder from Boise State. Rashad Hill, Blake Brandell, a 6th-round tackle from Oregon State, as well as UDFA Jake Lucina, mixed onto the 75-man roster. Same thing with veterans Dakota Dozier, Brett Jones, and Aviante Collins. On the outside, Tyler Higbee and Brady Aiello, 2 UDFA offensive linemen. Don't quite get it done. Over to the defensive line. This is good. All right, so D-line. Of course, you got the 4 projected starters. You got Hunter, Odenigbo, Pierce, and Watts. Now, if that's your starting 4 defensive linemen, I am mad in that. That's pretty good. Also, notice you got Everson Griffin. Guess who's back? Back again. Everson's back. Tell a friend. I think it's going to happen. I fully believe and would be willing to put it on the table that Klein and Everson will be part of the Vikings 75-man roster, 80-man roster, wherever it's going to be. And also, we did take into account adding them to the roster. We give the Vikings 89, so we basically subtracted 14 names. There you go. 7th-round pick Kenny Willekes gets to training camp. Same thing with veteran Anthony Zettel. 4th-rounders James Lynch as well as DJ Wanham. Shamar Stephen makes it. Could easily see Stephen being a veteran cap casualty cut. We'll see. Hercules Mataafa, year 3. This is it. Last year's UDFA 6'9" defensive end Stacey Keeley from UAB, as well as Jalen Holmes, as well as fourth year pro Jaleel Johnson coming out of Iowa. Guys who don't make it: UDFA David Moa from Boise State, who I actually I'm rooting for, as well as Cheeseburger Eddie Yarbrough, who come over from the Bills in the playoffs last year. Linebackers. So this one's pretty straightforward. And also, I think they'll carry 5 linebackers to start this year. So Barr, Kendricks, Wilson, Gideon. Those are sort of givens. Gideon in the final year of his rookie deal. Troy Dye, the 4th-round pick out of Oregon. Oregon. Go Ducks. I think eventually he'll take on that Eric Wilson type role, as well as UDFA Blake Lynch. I believe he gets an invite to camp. I think he's extremely intriguing. But guys who don't make it, so UDFA Jordan Fair, DeMarquise Gates coming over from the XFL, as well as Cameron Smith, former 5th-round pick from USC. He was the only draft pick out of 12 last year who didn't make the initial 53-man roster. I just don't see it. There you go. All right, next up, cornerbacks. There we go. All right, so cornerbacks. Mike Hughes, Jeff Gladney, Cameron Dantzler, Holton Hill. I think those are your big 4 heading into training camp and the season. And then also meriting invites, Chris Boyd, UDFA Neville Clark coming from Central Florida, Marcus Sales, the CFL cornerback makes it, as well as Nate Metters. Guys who don't make the cut, Kerman Hall, as well as Mark Fields. Mark Fields was the rookie UDFA last year out of Clemson, who the Vikings traded a 7th-round pick to the Chiefs for. Safety-wise, pretty straightforward. They all make it. So I actually have Harrison Hand listed as a safety. Is that correct? Is it not? Does it matter on an 80-man roster, 75-man roster? It does not. So Harrison Smith, Anthony Harris, Josh Metellus, the 6th-round pick out of Michigan, Brian Cole, the 2nd, 7th-round pick out of Mississippi State, as well as Miles Dorn, the UDFA out of North Carolina. All get to show their stuff in training camp. And then specialists, only 3. Dan Billy, Britton Colquitt, Austin Cutting. So that's it. That is our guesstimation of if the Vikings do bring a reduced roster to training camp, 75, 80-man, whatever you want. It sucks. I mean, this offseason just completely sucks. It blows. It sucks for bottom of the roster guys that don't have a chance to prove themselves. It sucks for younger veterans who they don't have a chance to show up and show out in preseason or training camp and unseat some of the vested veterans. It's great for some of the veterans because I think they'll almost make the team by default and get initial playing time by default. But we'll see. Strange year, strange times. But your thoughts on our 75-man roster? Who do we miss up? Who would you keep? Who would you cut? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Pull us on the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.